Hi, welcome to Dad Baking Hacks.com. Show me some love and click on that button today. Where's my baking crew?
Here.
We are going to make baguettes. We come over here and we're going to make the ingredients. Baguettes are great. There are only 4 simple ingredients, which is one of the great things about baguettes. Before you start, you're going to want a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1.5 cups of warm water, which comes right out of the sink, and 4 cups of flour. So with that, let's get going and make the dough. So who's going to put the yeast in?
Me.
Good job. Here's what we're going to do. We have yeast, a nice amount here. Baking crew 1. Can you put in 1/4 teaspoon of yeast into this bowl?
Yes.
Okay. You just want to fill that up with the yeast. Here you go.
How about you be baking crew 9?
I like that. And just give me a nice scoop. Good job. Perfect. And just dump it in. Dump it all in. Perfect. Now, who's going to give me 1 3/4 teaspoons of salt? Good job.
You can do it.
Now measure. Now that's a 1/4 teaspoon. So how many of those do you need for 1 3/4?
Okay. You would need 7.
Perfect. Give me 7 teaspoons right in there. Let's open it up. 7 teaspoons. Give me 7 teaspoons. And then I need 4 cups of flour. Who's going to give me 4 cups of flour?
Me.
Well, let's let Alex. You and I can get the water. Okay, Alex. I need 4 cups of flour. Just normal flour from Costco, right in there. Andy, let's go get it. Now, when you do the water,
Daddy, go big.
are you getting it, Teddy?
A bit. It's kind of.
That's okay. Is that your first
It's
one?
nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Pour it in.
Pour it all in. Dump it all in.
Let
Perfect.
it pause.
Perfect. Just make sure I get 7 of those, Teddy. Keep on going, Teddy. Andy, let's get the water now. And when you get the water, you want to make sure it's just warm enough. You kind of wanted the temperature where you could leave your hand under it, but it wouldn't hurt. That's pretty good, actually. Andy, come over here. I need 3 of these, Andy, and I have a 1/2 cup here. So we just need 3 of these to get a cup and a half.
4 cups.
4 cups, Alex. Dump them all in.
That's 2.
Okay.
I want to do it.
Let's carefully bring it over.
It's getting wet.
It is getting a little wet. So put in there 1. We need 3 of these. Andy, let's do 2 more. Here we go.
Oh.
And we need 1 more, Andy, and then we have water.
That's 2.
And then the other thing you want is a kind of a strong spoon. A wooden spoon works out really well, or something kind of like this. Once everything's in. Good job, Teddy. Cool. And we need 1 more cup of flour, and then we have all the ingredients measured and ready to go. And once you have them measured and ready to go, you stir it really hard until it's very well mixed. And then you put your hand in and you start kneading it. So you like to see us do that just a second. Alex, do you want to start stirring it now?
Should I do it that maybe?
You can stir it. You can stir it. You can. I tell you, Alex, not too hard because you don't want the flour to come out of the bowl. So you do it slowly at first, and then over time you make it a little bit harder.
Alex, that's my seat.
Andy, do you want to pull your bench up?
Yeah.
Andy, what do you have in your hand there?
A knife.
What's the knife for?
It's to straighten it out. So that Alex doesn't have to use his finger.
No, we don't need the. We need the knife tomorrow when we make the baguettes. We don't need it. Do you want to put the knife back?
Can you put the knife back?
Good job. I hear Andy. Do you want to try the spoon?
Yeah.
Very gentle. And then Teddy, you're up next with the spoon. Okay.
They go like this.
Good job, Alex. That looks really good. Here we go. Teddy, do you want to try stirring now? Andy, will you let you do some stirring? That's okay. Let's take a step on it. Take a step up. And see what you can do. Give it a nice stir. And this is what it starts to look at. You can see everything starts to combine
Let the soap
into a nice dough.
Let the soap.
And you just kind of keep stirring it, and it gets harder and harder. Do you want to give it a little part? It's tough. You want me to give it a little stir, Teddy?
It smells really good. It smells like pretzels.
It's starting to. So then Eventually you want to start stirring it pretty hard, and it starts to come together as a nice dough. And when it gets to about this consistency where it's sort of, there isn't very much flour that is still on the sides, at that point you start kneading it. And to knead it, you basically just take it off the spoon, and it's kind of a simple knead. You push down with your hand, and then you put down with your palm and you just push down, and then you turn it about 90 degrees, the bowl, and you keep pushing down. You can see it really is coming together into this nice dough. Andy, do you want to see what the dough looks like? And it sort of just comes together pretty quickly. And then we have a nice dough. Teddy, do you want to see what the nice dough looks like?
That's amazing.
Yep.
Can I maybe push it a bit?
Sure, give it a good push, Teddy. Give it some pushes. And so this is the kneading dough. You want to push down hard and then turn it. Push down, turn. Push down, turn. Good job. Teddy, do you want to grab the saran wrap or the plastic wrap? We're just about done here. Out of the drawer. And then you get it until it's kind of in one nice ball. This is kind of all you need to do. And you get it to about this much, and then you just put it over in a ball. Thank you, Teddy. And then you just leave it. Now what you do is you take your plastic wrap, you pull it out, and one of the hacks here is you want to pull a nice long piece, because we're going to also use this piece later to cover the 2 pieces of baguette. So you want it long as your baguette, about that long. We don't need to be too short. We bring it here, we cover the bowl, we wrap it down, and then the best place to just let it rise is you put it in an oven that's got nothing else in it. And then you wait 12 to 14 hours, and we'll see you in 12 to 14 hours. Where's my baking crew?
Here.
See you in 12 hours. Hi everyone, it's been 12 hours, so welcome back to dadbakinghacks.com. So now we're gonna take the bread out of the oven that's not on, and it will have risen. But first we want to get our pan ready to bake in. We take parchment paper, measure it out to the length of the pan. Then we rip it so that we're all set. We take the bread out after it's been rising for 12 hours and take a look. It looks pretty good. It's nice and sticky now. Then what we do is we come and we take our flour and we spread the flour on the surface we're going to be using. And now this is, you want to spread it off kind of like a rectangle, about this thickness. I've seen bakers who can throw it and just do it in one thing. I can't do that. And this is important because when you roll the dough, it'll stick otherwise. And then the other place you do is you make a little circle up here for when it comes out. And then we take that off, and then you want to flour this, because if it doesn't cover in flour, it kind of sticks to the dough. So take it and put some flour on it, so that the top is now, you can sort of see it through the flour. And then you just start kind of pulling it out. And eventually, you drop it down, and there's our dough. It's nice and oozy, it'll have lots of bubbles sometimes. You take your dough knife and you try to split it about as much in half as you can. You take 1/2, and now it's going to be sticky to the ground, and that's why you want to roll it in the flour. And as you roll it in the flour, the trick is you put pressure in the middle, and then your hands run off to the sides, and you do this in the flour, so it gets a little coat of flour all over it, which is good as it gets longer and longer and longer. And you want to make it about the length of the pan that you're using, maybe a little shorter than the one I used. It'll be about 1.5 feet maybe. And just make it nice and long. And if little pieces are sticking out, that's okay. When it cooks, it actually doesn't look, it looks great. And the trick is you want to try to make it nice and long. And if it's thickest, you want it thickest kind of in the middle, not on the ends. That way when it bakes, it just looks nicer. It'll taste the same, but it'll look a little nicer if it gets skinnier on the ends as you cook. So when you get a nice long kind of log, then you come over and you just kind of put it down. And then we take the other half and do the same thing. Again, it's sticky, so I only used about half the flour. And you start rolling it, you move it around so it picks up all the flour as you roll it. And it just gets longer and longer. And it starts to look a little bit like a uncooked baguette, which is exactly what we want it to start looking like.
The kind of is what it is.
That's right. Where's my baking crew?
Filming right here.
There's my baking crew. So we do this again, and it just becomes a log here that we can make a baguette out of. I have one little end that's little, so I'm just gonna pull on it a little bit. Do one final roll, and this is one where good can be the enemy of great. Don't worry if it's not quite perfect. It's just gotta be long. It all bakes. It all tastes pretty good. The last thing you do.
It tastes pretty good. It tastes amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, baking crew. And the last thing you do is you take the
More like filming
wrap.
crew.
You take the saran wrap that you used to cover the bowl, and then you put it back over, and you sort of press it down lightly so it's covering it. Do you want to come show what it looks like here? Get a nice close up. Do you want to come closer? You can just show it.
I'm just zooming in.
There we go. So you can take a look. It's just too long. If there's breaks and stuff, that's okay. It's and then you take it, you put it back in your oven, which is not on, and you let it do a second rise for between an hour and a half and about 2 hours, and I'll see you in 2 hours.
See ya.
So we're back. The bread's about 2 hours now that it's on its second proof. First thing we do is we need to boil about 1 liter of water. So I come over to my kettle and we turn it on. It's got 1 liter of water in it. Next thing we do is we just turn on the oven. And the temperature I like to cook at is with the convection bake or the fan. Turn it here up to 500. So pretty hot oven. 500 fan is very hot. And now it's turning up. And the other thing you want to do is you want to take a little pan, about this size or so. So a nice little one. This is eventually to get the steam going. And you put it in the bottom rack of the oven. So you can imagine. Put it right there and just leave it. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a steam oven, and we'll do that by pouring the boiling water in right before it starts. And that'll help steam our bread. I'll be back in about 12-15 minutes once the oven's hot. See you soon. Where's my baking team at?
Right here, filming you.
Very good. Okay, now we're going to turn our oven into a steam oven. It's currently 45, so it's just about there. Come on over, and I'll show you how we do this. We have boiling water here. I've opened it up in the tea kettle. Here, come on, stand over here so I can show you how we do this. Remember, we put the pan in the bottom. You can see it right there. Get a little bit closer. And now I'm just going to pour the hot boiling water in so that we can actually... This time, I'm going to pour the hot boiling water in while having an oven mitt because a little bit does come up. And we're going to make sure that we get all the water in that pan at the bottom. And what this is going to do is, as it bakes, it's just going to have some steam in there, and the steam's going to give us the crust that we want. So there we go. Now we have 1 liter of water in there. You can just put the pitcher aside, and we'll take the bread out. And it's had about a 2 hour second rise, and this is what it looks like. It looks kind of similar. It's got a little bit bigger. You see on the top, there's little bits of flour. Now, what we want to do now is we want to score the bread. And there's a device that you're supposed to call a bread lane, which you use to do this, but it doesn't really work for me because it doesn't really cut well. So I don't use this. What I do instead is I use kitchen shears. And you want to cut kind of diagonal shears. So if you want to stand on the bench there so you can get a nice picture.
When I zoom into
perfect. And we just kind of go about 1/3 of the way down and cut. And then you go about 1/3 of the way down and cut. And 1/3 of the way down.
And cut.
And 1/3 of the way down.
And cut. Sometimes when you say cut, I feel a bit like you want me to stop the video.
No. Keep on going. And then we do it on the other one. And we just keep doing it until we kind of have a nice... And you want to try to make these cuts nice and parallel. Just because it looks nicer. It sort of... Their goal is to let steam out so the bread doesn't crack. But if it does, it still looks nice. Then you get your hands a little bit wet because you don't want the dough to stick. And you kind of come here and you push down because these peaks will burn a little bit because they're just so kind of off by themselves in the surface area.
Touch it a bit?
Sure, touch the bread a little bit. And it just feels nice. And we're just poking down these... it doesn't really matter if you reconnect them or not. Our oven just hit 500. And then we... you guys, we poke down all the peaks that were there. Then we take this. It's just a normal spray bottle. and you spray it. And you want to be pretty liberal with your spray, and especially if you have any flour that's showing from when you rolled it this morning or rolled it 2 hours ago. Make sure you hit that with the spray bottle because it'll just look nicer. It makes the flour down. Now this is totally ready to go. It's been nice and sprayed down. And we put it in the oven. So we put it in the oven. You want to put it in the middle of the rack with the steam underneath. And we set the timer for 16 minutes. In exactly 16 minutes. Let's keep on going. We're almost there. 9, 10, 11. There we go. And what we're going to do now is after 5 minutes of cooking, we're going to open it up and quickly spray both loaves. Then after 10 minutes of cooking, we're going to open it up, spray both loaves, and turn the pan around. And then we're going to, after another 6 minutes of cooking, take it out. So we'll be back in 5 minutes to spray the bread down.
See ya.
Okay, so now it's been 5 minutes on the oven. So we're just going to open it and very quickly spray it. And you just spray everything. You want to get both loaves, at least one side, ideally both. And now we close it up. And I'll see you again in 5 minutes when we spray again and turn the pan.
See ya.
See ya. So it's been another 5 minutes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open the oven door, spray it, and then we're going to turn it around also so the other side cooks evenly. They're coming up, Teddy. Everyone can get a good view of this one. So 6 minutes left, so it's been baking for 10 minutes. We open the oven. Make sure you're wearing an oven mitt because this is hot. And you spray it down pretty vigorously while turning. So now we've turned it. Keep spraying, get the other side. Final spray. Put it back in. And now it'll be done in 5 minutes and 41 seconds.
See you again.
See you soon.
See ya.
So welcome back. Our bake is just about done. It's been 16 minutes, so we're going to take it out in 1 second. And you want to be pretty accurate with this because even 30 seconds or so, it will start to burn. You want to play around with your oven. Maybe your oven is a minute more, a minute less, based on where it actually is. Here, Teddy, come take a look at the bread. So this is our bread. As you can see, it looks great. And again, handle with the oven mitts. You want to put it on a cooling rack here so that air gets underneath.
Should I zoom into it so people
Absolutely. And what we have here are 2 pieces of baguette, 2 lovely baguettes, 2 loaves.
So really, this is what salt, flour, and all that other stuff.
And yeast and water become after 12 hours, a 2-hour rise, and 16 minutes of baking. We definitely want to let it sit about 5 to 10 minutes because if you cut it open right now, it's still cooking in the inside, so it'll still be a little raw. After 5 minutes or so, it's still a little warm, and that's kind of peak time, so we'll be back, and I'll have my baking crew here to judge the bake. So see you in 5 minutes. Where's my baking crew at?
Right here, it's one of the last like 5 clips.
So what do you think of these baguettes?
It's not your best, Dad. It's kind of crooked.
A little wrinkly.
Tough critics here, but let's see how it tastes. So let's cut it
The
open
taste
here.
always makes the most.
So we'll cut it open. It looks very nice. It's nice and bubbly. So let's give little pieces out. Here's one.
It's hot.
Everybody can have one. There you go. And last one. That's the bread. What do you guys think?
Good.
So
That's a good baguette.
thank you. So show us some love. Click subscribe and go to dadbakinghacks.com. Full recipe is below. And keep on baking. See you soon and send us anything else you want us to bake. Pretzels, muffins, cookies, whatever it is. We're out of here. Please subscribe.
Bye.